Hey, speaking of woo, we got to hit a woo about this past weekend.
What you got?
The internet was abuzz about the in-ring promo showdown in front of a very hot crowd in Chicago. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, face to face with the WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. Wade Barrett was hanging around back there for some reason. I got to get your take on this. There's a lot of speculation that people went off script and this didn't go according to plan. And maybe that was validated when certain clips were removed. I think WWE has actually removed parts of this. I don't know what's real and what's not, but I know people went from saying, I don't want to see this match. It's not a dream match. I'm over it. I don't care. And now people are talking about it almost exclusively. What was your takeaway this past Friday night watching SmackDown?
Connie, I think in the comments early, anyway, I think we've already gotten a couple of comments about this. Conrad, I truly don't even know where to start on this one. I've got a lot of questions that I've asked myself out loud and trying to think through. You know me, I put on my promoter cap for just about any and everything. And as I mentioned earlier, Cody wanted to see Ray Phoenix's debut and Friday night, and we're home, and I'm a wrestling guy, so I always have it on, whatever that's going on, because Cody loves it, and he does his Instagram to YouTube to X surfing, and if he likes something by the end of the night, he'll know all of his promo lines, and he'll start repeating, and I'll try to ask him something you want for dinner, and he'll give me a yeet this and a yeet that. But Conrad, I'm going to ask these questions, and I'm not saying you got the answer to it. So chime in if you want to, but here is, because I didn't see it live, but I went back and watched it. But here was my Cody Angle's comments of, hey, Codes, how's, once the Ray Phoenix say, how's things going? What happened in this segment? And I think actually it was Karen who said, hey, Codes, because, Charlotte is one of Cody's favorites. They bonded years ago, but I think Karen said, hey, was Charlotte on? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, what happened in that? And Cody's response was, Tiffany ran off from her, got scared of her, and ran away.
Oh, okay.
And I just went, wait, what, Cody, what? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, Ashley, Charlotte's the heel, I think.
Yeah.
But the babyface isn't going to run away, and she's the challenger. It just didn't click at all. And I said, Cody, are you sure? Because look, everybody can see different things. And I said, are you sure? And she said, he just kind of looked at me and said, yeah. She said, I said, well, what happened? She said, oh, they started talking back and forth. Okay. So that gave me enough intrigue to go back and kind of watch it. And I'm like, all right. And then obviously Saturday at the gym doing cardio, then you really get dialed into it. But Conrad, watching it back on Friday night, boy, did I have some questions, because none of it added up. If we're selling the icon, legend, if you will, the most decorated female, and however you want to position Charlotte versus the young upstart, and I get it, and I'm sure it's by design with WWE. They want, the blonde, just the moonsaults. They're whatever comparisons you want to draw together. And then when you see it go out and they and I'm going to jump around here, the boos, Conrad, like, I get the Dom thing, but you can see people when Dom is being booed, you can clearly see that that's just kind of turning the volume up. And Saturday morning.
What do you mean turning the volume up? Can you explain?
Okay. Dom is a heel and gets a lot of heat. And I think in the early days of his character development, they poured the gas on it. And I don't want to say they really did the WWE of things, but they took his character to another level. It became part of his shtick that he's got so much heat, the crowd won't let him talk. And look, through the years, there have been ebbs and flows of all kind of stuff like that. But Charlotte, Russo, our man Vince Russo even tweeted, which I found funny because that was on the scroll doing cardio Saturday morning, is that they piped in the booze. I'm like, yeah, why did they do that when she was clearly, I thought and this is no surprise for a Chicago crowd, I thought they took them both as baby faces. And then, it goes without saying as it went off the rails, but here's where it really, to me, got confusing for Tiffany. And here's where I had some compassion for Tiffany. If she's this young underneath, and we've referenced Gail, underneath baby face, that, man, I'm going to get my shot at the queen, the greatest female professional wrestler of all time. If I'm going to get my shot at her, then I really need to be the all shucks kid next door. And I know you got to have piss and vinegar, and you got to have fire and spunk as a baby face, but man, to really build things up, and she can just say, oh man, whatever the verbiage can be. But when you start dropping the insider stuff, and look, depending on what demo you're in, when she starts bringing in the personal stuff about marriages, and it was like straight out 101. Okay, so is Tiffany the heel? I get it now. She wants to be heel, but no, that I don't think. Conrad, are they selling Tiffany to be the heel? That was confusing. In the I'll call it the shoot comments or the insider jabs or whatever it may be. And Memphis TV, and Lawler and Jarrett and others, and at different times in my career, you can kind of look at different stories that I've been in. And if you can blur the lines and personal issues draw money and blah, 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 we can go down that road all you want. But how did a 25-year-old perceived baby-faced girl taking pot shots at the queen and then drop the mic and roll out of the ring? Like, where did all that psychology make sense? I'm at a loss on how does that build to Mania? How's that productive? And to me, because she dropped and rolled, and I think optics go a long, long way. Now more than ever, Charlotte is the babyface, and they want to say, beat that little bitch's ass. But I don't think that's what they want, or do they? Conrad, I guess what I'm saying is I'm probably more confused on what they're selling now. Now, look, we can get into the social line, social media, and the narrative, and he said, she said, and blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. And look, as long as you're talking, I've said it over and over and over, it's a positive. But damn, Conrad, that you wanted comments. I don't even know how to respond to it, because it is very apparent there is so much more to this story, professionally and personally, that we don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't think it resonated with the audience. That's kind of where I'm going with it. Does that make sense, Conrad?
Well, you said that you found it confusing. Now, do you have a best practice about the word confusing or confuse in wrestling? Like, as a marketer, as a promoter,
you confuse them, you lose them. I've said it over and over and over. You confuse them, you lose them. And so if Tiffany is going to say what she said, then if I'm in Hollywood writing a script, and I hate to say that, but if I'm writing I'm writing a TV show, if I'm doing wrestling, if I'm doing a street corner fight, if I'm doing this, I'm doing that. The baby face, the good guy, is going to say, hey, you're 0-3, or whatever the silliness, but kind of hurtful things that were said. If you're going to say that, then get face to face with her and back Charlotte down. The boos that were piped in, that was a complete mess. And the live crowd, I don't think, bought into it, what it appeared. That's what I'm saying. I think the whole segment completely missed. And that is very, very, very uncharacteristic in so many ways
of WWE, of Triple H.
I think the product. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, look, you can say what you want, good or bad, and I'm not going to just say Vince McMahon. I'm going to say Jarrett, Jerry Lawler, Dusty Rhodes, David Manning. We can go through all the bookers in the world. Pat Patterson. In that, you kind of have to. We're writing music here. My old buddy Toby Keith, you know, like you have, when you write a song, and it can be the absolute best lyrics in the world that are biting and just emotionally pull you in. If you don't have the right, and you can write the best hooks, but if you don't have the right rhythm, if you don't write the right music to go along with it, then you're never going to have a number one hit. And so when you have, I think Tiffany is supposed to be the baby face. When you have her take personal shots, scripted or unscripted, like throw that out the door for this second, for this conversation. When you have to take those personal shots and then she doesn't back it up with her physicality, then you just go, guys, what are we doing here? Like, what are we selling here? What are we trying to do here? Because I think at the end of the day, every promoter will tell you, hey, let's don't book what I like. Conrad, let's don't book what you like. Let's don't book what talent A likes. Let's don't book what talent B likes. The promoter, the writer, the production guy, the cameraman. Let's put out there what the people want and deliver it in the very possible case that we can. In my opinion, that wasn't done at all.
I'm seeing a lot of discussion. There's even debate going on today about were the ladies off script? Were they shooting, bro? Or, you know, was this all a part of it and we're all being quote unquote worked and they've built intrigue? You're shaking your head no immediately.
Do you think for 1 minute that the writing teams would script a 25-year-old babyface who's super athletic and can do all the moves? Do you think for a minute they're going to script her, hey, say this line, drop the mic, and roll out and run from her?
Wait, so you think it's more likely that a 25-year-old who's in her first world title win, who's on her way to her first WrestleMania match, you think she would go into business for herself and have shoot comments? I don't buy that for a second.
Okay. See, that's what, like, right now, the fact that we're talking about it and pull the layers of the onion is why I just said I'm confused.
Yes.
Nothing adds up.
And we're all getting hooked. We're all talking about it.
There you
so
go.
If that was the intent of WWE, well done, I guess. But
well done.
No, it's not. Listen, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for a baby face to have a comment and throw the mic and powder and run away. That's chicken shit heel behavior. And I can't imagine they're doing some sort of a double turn and Charlotte's leaving WrestleMania the baby face and she's the heel. If we both know, and I know Russo pointed out first, but you can tell that's what you didn't say explicitly earlier when you were like, they're doing the Dom treatment, is they were piping in booze.
Sure.
And you try to make it Pavlovian. If you turn it up enough as she brings the mic to her mouth, the fans will get with it and they'll be part of the show. That's what you're looking for.
And I'm not criticizing that.
No.
The proper deal. It wasn't jive. That's why I'm confused, Conrad. They piped in the booze, which means the production is wanting Charlotte to be the heel. Okay. With that being said, then you have Tiffy time powdering. Help me understand that one, pal.
I mean, listen, the whole thing is a real head scratcher. I mean, we saw Charlotte make the appearance on the Sherry Shepherd show and tell the real life Ashley Flair story. And I mean, like crying her eyes out doing it. And then the next day it's referenced in a promo. It makes me wonder, hey, is that not how she really feels? And that was a work and she's in on this and they all agreed on it and blah, blah, blah. Cause I'm thinking, boy, that's not the Ashley. I knew that was a real insecurity of hers. I just couldn't imagine that there'd be a scenario where that would be what they're doing. But then when Tiffany threw the mic down, it's like, wait, that's heel behavior. Picking on someone's mental health is heel behavior.
Yeah.
Saying a big gotcha line, throwing the mic and running away. Usually when a baby face has a heart, watch when Cody throws down some sort of a bad line. F you, Rock. He didn't throw the mic down and haul ass to the back.
No.
He stuck his chin out there like, what are you going to do? Because that's what baby faces do. Like, here's what I believe in. And as the kids say, I'm standing on business.
With conviction.
And you throw the mic and run away, now you're chicken shit heel. So it's like, that didn't make any sense, Jeff.
That's why, look, and I didn't see the Sherry Shepherd. So that's another layer. Like, man, you want to talk about intricate storytelling. We're going to have her a sympathetic baby face on this form of media. Okay, if that is what, you know, these appearances are done in the WWE office, they are very good at getting, you know, plugging and playing and getting females on this talk show and certain people on this sports show and certain people on this entertainment show. Okay, we've got Charlotte Flair on this show, and so she's going to talk about her real struggles. And look, believe me, we all go through hell in life and come back and go through it again. Sometimes it's just what we call life. If that's the case, okay. But on your SmackDown program, you're obviously wanting a heel and you're piping in the booze. Conrad, I'm getting more confused sitting here right now than I was before we started this, because sometimes you help me make it make sense, but you're not doing a very good job of that.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. Like the only thing that makes sense is if they're trying to set up some sort of double turn. But to your point, the whole like Sherry interview, like, I mean, let's be honest. How many wrestling fans are watching that show?
I don't know.
So it's not like, hey, we all saw you on Sherry Shepherd. That's not real. Like, I don't know a single person. I didn't even know that show existed until I saw the clips. Like, it's not on my radar. And I can't imagine Pondwater Dave and Coach Rossi and little Jimmy Sorensen and our studio audience today here on YouTube. I can't imagine for a minute they were all like, oh, I watched her live on the Sherry Shepherd.
Chuck E. Cheese may have.
Amanda Rogers says, I'm a girl and I didn't even watch it. LOL. Yeah, because we didn't even know it existed. It's not a show that's so it's hard for me to imagine that this was the original plan, but it's also impossible for me to buy the fact that, oh, you know, Tiffany's off script. She stuttered getting the line out. And this is worth mentioning. I think she said the phrase boo-hoo talk show. I got a couple 21-year-olds running around my house. I ain't never heard them say boo-hoo. But that 25-year-old didn't say boo-hoo. Like, this is scripted. WWE scripted that, but now they're trying to present the narrative that, oh no, they went off script and we're going to delete it. I don't buy that. And I've also seen people saying, and this is where it gets weird, Jeff. I'm seeing people say in the comments, because I even posted, just saw not cool and nothing else. And I got people ripping me apart saying, oh, you're biased. She's my sister-in-law. Are you not biased to your family? Like, what?
Which is crazy. Yeah.
What are we talking about? That's number one. But number two, I saw people actually suggesting, and I couldn't believe that this was real. Oh, well, Charlotte went off script first. And they referenced when they did that side-by-side interview on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, it was a pre-tape. Jeff, if you have a pre-tape and they go off script, you've produced a lot of wrestling in your day.
And I've seen many get out of bounds. Not yet, but I've seen many. Hey, folks, let's dial this bad boy in.
No. When they went off script, you just ran that one. You aired it, right?
Oh, Conrad.
It's a pre-tape. You can't possibly cut it again and get it right, can you?
What the best thing to do is you have that format in your hand and you throw it down and say, guys, I want this to get done, and I've got a lot of other stuff to shoot today. Can we get this done now? Oh, okay. Well, we got that out of our system. Now let's go to work and do what is being asked of us and get it done. That's why, hey, man, Conrad, and there is nothing like live TV. Nothing. You can't put it in reverse. You can't get an edit. You can't do so many things. We're live, pal.
Mr. Epic has it right. He says, work or shoot, everyone is talking about it. I think
right.
that's what WWE was looking for with the segment.
But let me play the other side of that. I agree. And Mr. Epic, appreciate you joining us here on YouTube, My World. I really do. Although, and I've always said this, that you want people talking. The worst thing that can do is not say anything.
Yes.
With that being said, going into the top female match of WrestleMania with the most successful female in company history, I just think you want a clear, divided line, because I don't think the way they have Tiffany positioned, and I think Amanda put it in there just a second ago, and I've heard about this. I was at War Games. Tiffy, Amanda Rogers says, like I was at War Games and Tiffy was so over in the building, this should be so easy. That's kind of my point, that like as my man Dutch Mantel used to say, hey, Jeff, just go run the play. And what he meant was, we don't have to do all this razzle dazzle. He's just like, give it to your running back and let him go right up the gut, and he's going to get us 7 or 10 yards every play. And we're going to go score. Don't get fancy. Don't get out of bounds. Don't try to do all this. Just let it happen. And that's kind of where I'm going with it, Mr. Epic, in that how could this get so convoluted? Yes, we're all talking about it, but is it really doing? And I'm not. Charlotte's Teflon, no doubt about it. Gets that from her father as well. But I mean, she's Teflon. That character, she has absolutely worked her ass off to get where she's at, and that just kind of comes with the equity. Tiffy, on the other hand, man, she's stepping onto this big stage. Out of all we're talking about and all the things going on, we're not talking about, man, Tiffy is really going to get on the grandest stage of them all and get her first gigantic win. We're not talking about that. We're talking about her dropping the mic and rolling out and running like a heel. That's the unfortunate part, Mr. Epic. That's what I'm saying. Yes, we're all talking about it. Not sure we're talking about it in the right context.
I would agree with that. I mean, because I think what everybody's talking about is the gotcha moment in a promo. And now they're wondering, hey, are they going to beat each other up for real? I mean, that's what I keep seeing in the comments, is people saying, oh, there's going to be live rounds. This is going to be a real fight. And it's like, if we're thinking that that's the direction it's going, maybe it's working, maybe it's not. But I'm as confused on this build about she's a baby face, but she's a chicken shit heel running away, throwing down the mic and running away, as I am about the actual main event. Like, it feels like the Cody Cena main event. At first, it was because Cena was with The Rock, but after that initial elimination chamber, we've not seen or heard from The Rock at all. So that was confusing. And then Cena came out and explained why he did what he did, but it was really a promo about his relationship with the fans more so than Cody. They've tried to bring it together now, but I have seen some criticism about the build for this year's WrestleMania. And I think people are confused with, wait, is The Rock involved in this or is he not? And what is John Cena's problem with Cody? And now, of course, we've got this on the ladies' side. And I don't remember there being a ton of super successful multi-man main events. It feels like usually at WrestleMania, when it's a 3-man or a 4-man or 4 corners or whatever, it gets confusing. I think the Monday night, or the first night, the Saturday night main event, is a 3-way now. And there's some questions about Paul Heyman. You know, where is he at? Does that make Punk a heel? Is he the baby face? Is Roman the heel? I think this may be one of the more confusing go-home stretches we've ever had for WrestleMania, Jeff.
Well, as we record this on Monday, the 7th, we have about 15 minutes, and there's going to be new developments, if you will. I think they've got 2 Mondays to go and 2 Fridays to go.
That's right.
And so they do have time to super laser focus it. I'll completely concur with you on that triple threat. I'm going to say it. That shocked me.
Why did it shock you?
Roman Reigns.
You broke up on us. Your kids are on the internet or something. Can you say that again?
I'm going to be pissed off if they
We're
are.
closing it down now. Just tell me what you said again. Say it again.
One guy, Roman Reigns. I did not see. Has Roman been in any match in WrestleMania in the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years outside of a single? I don't think so. I may be wrong.
There was the tag match to main event last year, night 1.
Okay.
But that was to establish night 2.
That's set up. Yeah, that's set up. That's what I'm saying is Roman has been,
Mano a mano the whole time.
Well, and Shawn Michaels is the original Mr. WrestleMania, but yeah, Roman has been in main event and he's still quote unquote the guy, and that's all due respect to Cody. And I'm not getting in that conversation. I'm just saying Roman has been in single main events for 10 years. And I'm not saying Seth or Punk don't deserve it. None of that kind of conversation. I'm just saying you're going to ask the people. You're splitting allegiances.
Oh wait, I lied. I was wrong because a few years ago, this was the pandemic WrestleMania. It was Daniel Bryan and Adam Copeland when they were both on their way to AEW. He stacked them on top of each other and beat them.
Sure did.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Okay. Pandemic. I'm still anyway. That's what surprised me out of it. That Roman in the babyface slot, and when he came back, what was that at Raw at the Garden?
Yeah.
I just kind of thought, here they go during that route. Roman babyface, huge win. Is this his first Mania as a babyface? I'm saying in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely his first in a while for sure.
That's where I'm going with all of it. That okay, Cody night 1 or night 2 and vice versa. Cody Roman are their headliners. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we've got a lot of comments here. Mr. Epic, who he knows a thing or two about the wrestling business, been on the independent scene, and he says if the workers can't follow it, the fans definitely won't be able to, and good guys don't run away. So there's lots of debate, lots of discussion about what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong with this year's WrestleMania. Of course, we're going to continue watching the news. We're all going to watch Raw tonight.
Jacob Stimmel. I'm from Bulls Gap, Tennessee. I was looking for a house, and Jason, when I talked to him, it seemed like he knew a lot about what he was talking about, and he was a big help with anything I ever needed. My first time buying a house, so I didn't know what I was getting into. It was a good experience. I closed actually a week earlier than planned. Anytime I needed help with anything or had any questions, he'd answer right away and help me learn a lot too. I would gladly recommend anybody. Y'all are a big help, and if I ever go to buy a house again, I'd go with y'all again. My name is Jacob Stimmel, and I got into my first home with the team at SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.